Hey guys, welcome to our review of Picard Season 3, Episode 2. And before we begin, I just want to say that I have prepared myself for it with not 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the beers that I was drinking before, during, and after the episode. So I gotta get that out of the way in first. But I will say, knowing that, better, except for obviously the subplot B, which is one of the worst subplots, but does lead to something good at the end. Picard, ultimately, now it feels like, this is Wrath of Khan. We're going on one last adventure, and Picard's going to get his own Wrath of Khan, it seems like. Now, is this going to be able to be done justice in TV form? Is it going to be able to be done justice with these writers and producers? That's where I have suspicions. Before we jump into the actual episode, let me talk a little bit about season episode 1 and the reaction to it. I'm very happy to see our boys over there at RLM is doing reviews for Picard. Yes, they said they weren't, but they're going to. So I'm very happy and excited to see that. But they brought up some really great points in episode 1 that I'd like to cover here as well. That Picard, the characters are acting different, right? Slightly. Picard's not the Picard that we know. He's and in fact, in this episode, he makes a transition at the very end. Picard is literally sleeping through everything. That's what I felt like.
Because he's old.
His performance, his dialing it in. Plus, he's old. Maybe he's
dark in the room.
He's throwing in some. Oh, that's right.
And he's like, oh, it's sleepy time.
My turn. Exactly.
Someone needed to change his diaper, and we
right at the end, he wakes up, and we get kind of that spark of Picard that we've seen in the past, that take charge, Picard, and I enjoyed that moment there at the end. And then also, they're worried, just as we are, about the dumb villains, right? Lore could have potential. The cowlick lady and old man hologram, I'm wondering, is this gonna work out? However, the cowlick lady did do something at the end that I did. She was giggling at the end about how excited she is to go and fucking chase Picard and do a Wrath of Khan 2, and I kind of was giggling in the same way. So I liked that particular, characterization of her, and at some point she sneezed or something.
There is a sizable bounty on his head, and we are taking him.
And I said, bless you, when she was talking. We'll get to that. But I'm just wondering, is this going to be a Trojan horse? Is all of these member berries, because the member berries are large and in charge. We get the reveal of something we saw coming a mile away. Worf is in fact the motherfucking intelligence officer that Rafi has been talking.
Yeah, you called it.
Her fucking pointless side plot finally gets one of my favorite characters back involved, and I'm so happy to see him. They even used the theme from the movies. It's such a great fucking song and theme. So we are going hard on member berries here. And I'm enjoying the interplay between Shaw and Jean-Luc and Riker and even this asshole captain and Seven of Nine trying to, sort of rally the troops under the nose of a captain who's kind of an asshole. So all of that stuff in Plot A is working for me, and I'm liking it. It's just Plot B with the Rafi stuff that I'm hating. So basically, I liked episode 2 better than I liked episode 1. I have some liquid courage, so I liked it. I'm wondering if this is just me being hyped on, falsely, essentially. So what did you guys think of this episode 2?
I like this episode. I like what's going on. But again, as soon as I start liking it more, I'm like, it just ruins the pace for me when we go back to Raffi.
Oh, God.
It's like, and I don't hate the actress. I just hate the way she's written, the way everything they portrayed about her last season, and then they're trying to make you care for her. It's like, It's like you haven't seen your son. It's like I don't. It's like I don't care
if
about
anybody thinks we hate on her actress, you're being ignorant. It is her character. I hate her character.
What
just
they did with their last season just went over the top. It's like I'm
over
done
the
with
top,
this
and I'm
character.
done with it. And I wanted a clean break. That's exactly what the producers said they were trying to do. You don't have the previous characters. We're trying to bring the original back. Then have the clean break. But there's no clean break here.
Yeah, and as soon as I'm starting enjoying it more and more, I'm like, okay, now it's dropping.
Yeah.
And it's going back up and then down.
It
It's like,
definitely holds
dips.
back the episode, I think.
It does, because like you're wasting time on the most important part. You don't need the.
You're wasting time on
subplot.
the least important part.
Yeah,
you mean?
you don't need the subplot right now. Let's just get to this, expand more and what's going on, and just a little nitpicks is like there's no like reference of who's in charge. Sean's like, all right, you've been demoted or whatever. And
Right. So at the end, we're like, wait a minute. It's like, okay, acting admiral taking over now. He takes over, and like, yeah, that is the spark that we need to get the show going. But it doesn't make any sense because in the
Sean wouldn't
previous
do that, though,
episode,
either,
they
'cause,
just
like-
said you retired. You're not an actual admiral. You have no authority, and plus you're a captain without a chair. And this is my ship, and I'm the captain. But now somehow Picard was able to take over flawlessly.
like-
Nobody bats an
exactly
eye.
like, okay, let's do exactly what you said. And Sean would be like, no.
Shaw, I think is his name. Yeah. And I guess they expect us to lean on the fact that they're legends, and so everybody's just gonna follow what the legends are saying.
But everyone's
I don't know. Everybody's
just stuff like that. But
the crew on the Titan.
is good.
Everybody.
And then that evil lady reminds me of the Austin Powers. Fire the lasers.
Oh yeah.
Joe, I gotta bring her up while I'm drinking. Lies on lies.
No,
You're right.
maybe a little bit.
Exact. No, 100%. I can't take the villain seriously.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, holy shit, it's her.
I will say I laughed more than I should have in this episode. You know what I mean? It's like I am happy that we're actually gonna get a little nautical cat mouse chase
Yeah, I
like
was
we
liking
saw
that.
in Wrath of Khan, but it's with these over the top characters that are just, I don't know, kind of parodies of like excellent characters. This is no Montebo Esteban. What's the guy's name?
Montalban?
Montalban. Just
Rich Corinthian leather.
He's just a charismatic villain, and what we have here in this cowlick lady is just hilarity, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, okay. What about you, Alex?
No, I still don't like it. I mean, I just constantly I'm watching this and I'm just reminded of the scene in Dumb and Dumber where he's sitting at the bar going, I don't care. I don't care about anything. And the problem is, like, anytime that we start to make any sort of progress out of something that I could potentially care about, I don't care about. Not at even plot A, I don't care about the entire time. Anytime we start to get towards where I was like, this could be interesting, they either do something so unbelievable that contradicts something they established in the previous episode, or in Star Trek lore, how the Federation works, or we switch over to Rafi, and Rafi is useless.
Yes.
It's garbage. Like, oh, you do this drug, and that's how I know you're not Starfleet. It's like, what is this? You don't have a dude that can smell a lie?
Beta Nari can smell when you're not telling the truth.
Seriously?
Also, what you had for dinner, and the last person you had sex with.
I missed the fuck.
Why don't you just go get a dude who can smell a lie, and then we don't have to worry about anything, right?
You're not wrong, Alex.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
So like this isn't good. Stop watching this shit. Like
Yeah.
you can't keep rewarding people for getting almost there. This is the participation trophy of modern sci-fi. And what are we incentivizing Michael Chabon and Kurtzman and all of these fucking assholes that constantly want to take something that they're not talented enough to do? They're trying to make it for the TikTok generation or the I don't know. This is like Star Trek for Jake Paul. Like that's what this feels like. It's like I don't. Why are we watching this? Because it's not.
We have to. We've committed to it, and I feel like as critics, we have a responsibility to watch it. I appreciate your opinion so much. I fucking love it.
Any sort of like I want to.
But I do want you to give it a fair shake.
I won't. I can't. I refuse.
You have to.
No. I'm telling you right now. Even before that, there will be no honest and real scores. I'm going to give them scores.
Yeah.
But there's no because I'm not watching this as any sort of like I'm going to try to judge it in a vacuum based on not realize that he's a 90-year-old robot that came in that lady 20 years ago.
By the way, they did reference that as well. So I was like, are they just gonna kind of hand wave it away? Yeah. No, they're like, fuck, we fucked that up. We got to keep it going. Yeah. So she does mention that he has a positronic body.
Yeah. Yeah, and then everyone in Starfleet is completely and totally incompetent. You know, the guy, the person that if they don't deliver him, 500 plus people will die.
This is really the best.
You mentioned Austin Powers. They have one inept guard who he's like, hey, guard man, can you come like help me get out of here? And
this is really the best these writers can come up with, and it's sad because I see potential here and what they're doing, but they're doing it poorly. And every time they do something to break the immersion, it could have been written in a different way. Now, Star Trek Nemesis came out in 2002. And I do want to say that even in that film, you know, some of the characters aren't really acting the way that we know. And it was a very dissatisfying ending to, I think, the majority of people. And unfortunately, none of the Star Trek Next Generation films or movies were really all that great. I do like First Contact, but I can admit that they're acting completely different in those films, especially Picard. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this, it's bad. And I don't disagree with Alex, but I think I'm kind of resigned to my fate in the sense that if we're going to go on this one list, right, God damn it, I'm going to drink some beer and I'm going to try to have fun with it and then mourn afterwards and then talk about how, you know, they kind of, treated the characters afterwards. I really hope that this is a small spark that once we get all the main cast back together, you know, because we realize that critics have seen 6 episodes of this, so they know what's coming. That at that point and the last 4 episodes, we can have a really good send-off for the original cast.
We're being ghosted, by the way. All of my CBS contacts. Most of them for the other shows are getting back to me.
The
ones for this one have not got
returned.
Why,
by the way, I wonder why. Our first episode was taken down by CBS, a manual acclaim again. Thank you all guys for rewatching that. Y'all are amazing to support the Angry Joe Show, and we got that back to over 100,000 views when they cut it down. They stopped it at about 85,000, and they were mad that we used an 11-second clip. Of course, it was and so I was like, all right, I'll just remove the 11-second clip, and they said, here's the part you need to remove to satisfy us. It was the entire video. Just screwed up. So I just re-uploaded. I put the fair use. I flipped it. I just everything that I can to get these guys off our backs. Even though it's so weird, other YouTubers are covering this, and I've been watching because I'm curious. How are other people reacting to season 3? I'm so glad that RLM is doing it as well. But they're using longer clips, and I don't know why we're targeted this way. But I guess it was because all the Halo shit and all this other stuff that we had to deal with. Anyways. Hey, we're just telling it like it is. I'm so glad I've got Alex here. I mean, and Joe, we have the perfect cast for reviews. Joe has no idea what's going on as far as, you know, all of the TNG stuff. So he's not gravitated by member berries. They're not effective on him. And he's just judging it as the story that he sees unfolding. Me, it's like, I hated Nemesis. I want this crew to have one last hurrah. And we have the shittiest people working on this and really talentless writers and producers that show small flashes here and there, and I'm just like gravitating, like holding on to those things and having hope. And then Alex is really telling it like it is, because honestly, that's where my true heart is. It's like no. No, basically. All right, so let's go with final verdicts, and then we can do an episode breakdown. Joe, as the non-fan outside looking in, what are you thinking about this episode?
I don't remember what I gave the last one.
Mm.
Do you remember that?
No, I didn't write it down. I'm sorry.
What did you give it?
I think you gave it either a 4 or a 5 is what I'm thinking.
I'm probably gonna go with a 5.
Mm-hmm.
I like some of the stuff here, but again, like it just I wish it would pay attention to its own detail. I unfortunately the subplot is not gonna wrap up anytime soon, so we're gonna see more of that, and I'm looking forward to that, and it's just gonna kill the pacing on the next episode, and it's killed the pacing big time for this one.
The Rafi subplot,
Yeah,
man,
it's
it
like-
holds everything
It's
back.
like we get it. You haven't talked to your son. You
Oh yeah, I guess I kind of combed over that. Let me real quickly talk about that subplot where it is revealed. This is another thing we saw coming a mile away. This character, Jack Crusher, is. It hasn't been 100% confirmed, but via
his son.
via Beverly Crusher's eyes and reaction and his realization, this is motherfucking Picard's son.
But again, like it could just be her eyes are like
no.
glossed over
This is
because
confirmation.
she's so sedated. Like, they gave her so many so many
Picard's like,
medications. It's like, hey,
I
let's
got
go
you.
walking.
I got you. No, that's a parody, Joe. No, this is his son. It is revealed that this is his son. And how do you feel about that? You don't care. 'cause
I was
it's
eye
a-
rolling as soon as that happened. He's like, "Oh, I'm the son." And then look
You're
at
a
each
robot.
other.
You
It's
can't
like,
have a son.
okay, I
don't
know where
care.
this is going.
No, he obviously impregnated her before he was a robot, Alex.
Yeah, but this is his memory in a body. He's not actually Picard. Picard died in season 1.
Yes,
He
I know.
remembers everything. No, but like I saw that coming a mile away. We all did. Y'all were super excited whenever Worf showed up. I was like,
Yes, I
okay,
was,
well,
and you're like,
that's-
okay.
It's like that's cool. Guy looks like a Fu Manchu, or like a old kung fu master.
It's true.
Yeah.
Did you like the music at least when he showed up? If
You has no member berries for that music.
I don't. No, it's like
get out of here.
you had to
George.
call it out. It's like, oh,
Leave
that's.
my
I was
house.
like, I don't know.
All
what
right.
that is.
Yeah.
It's like, I just thought it was like something they added on there.
Yeah.
Cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But I did like the little standoff for what they were gonna do. It's like hopefully they do more of that.
Yeah.
Like submarine tactic stuff.
Yeah, that's
and,
that's basically Wrath of Khan. Have you seen Wrath of
no,
Khan?
I've not.
Oh, Joe, you
Because
love
it's
it.
like I haven't
You love
seen.
We'll watch that. We'll have to watch that.
So 5 for me.
Okay.
It kept dipping because
Because I got you.
inconsistencies and like Shaw.
Mhm.
Like I don't know what his character is like. He's gonna have a change of heart just because of the episode.
So
Like, he's
so
like-
now
it's like,
we're
alright.
ready to make a prediction about Shaw. Is that he's not gonna be like the villain, and he's not an asshole. He's not even a part of the conspiracy in Starfleet that everything like
No.
he's like pure on bad. No, he's got a good heart, and Picard or Riker or a combination of them both had his parents killed. He's got some kind of trauma because of them hot shots, and so that's
She
why
even
he's
said it too.
disrespecting them.
he
And
had trauma in
by
the
the
past.
end, he's going to turn into the helpful, captain that everybody.
Well, he's already
hated
doing it
in this.
now. 'cause
He's
I
already
thought,
doing
like,
it now.
She
yeah.
said like one thing to him. He's like, "All right, let's go help him." He's like, "Well, you just endangered 500 people
Yeah.
for you too." So
I'll start writing down y'all's scores as well, so that we don't
yeah,
miss them.
5 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't even go that high. I think that half of this episode is truly bad. I think the Rafi stuff is bad. The whole I will only let you try to save every person from this weapon or speak to
Oh,
your
my
son.
God.
You've got shit like that in that subplot.
Such
So
an eye-rolling thing. No, I want you to explain that, Alex. Tell them why does that suck? It doesn't make any fucking sense. This guy from her past,
Her
who
ex-husband.
eventually turns out to be her ex-husband,
Yeah.
is like, I will either talk to your son for you on your behalf to help repair your relationship, or I'll help you find a terrorist that's about to fucking kill millions and billions in the galaxy.
Your mom is trying to save the fucking world.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're not
so-
gonna talk to her.
the beginning was he's like, look, before you chose drugs over your son, and that's a shitty thing.
Yes.
Now you're trying to choose. I'm going to make you choose your son or millions of people. It's like, and everyone in this episode is a piece of shit. So this entire subplot is fucking bad.
Yeah.
And any time we went to it, it just killed any momentum that the show had. So if that shit is a 0 out of 10. And so when we get back to the other stuff, there's actually some good stuff
Yes.
here in plot A.
He means 1 out of 10.
Well, yeah, no.
0 out of 10 is non-functional.
It is non-functional. save the fucking galaxy, or you get to talk to your son as a non-functional
He could still be a
storyline.
piece
We
of
were
shit.
talking amongst ourselves whenever that happens. We were making fun of.
Yeah, it's
So
not.
it kind of-
It's not.
Yeah.
It ain't good. And then you've got. I mean, I think Shaw is kind of a poorly written piece of shit. Like, if you want to have a by the books hard ass, you have to have a by the books hard ass. You can't have a limp noodle
Yes.
who's
Yep.
pretending to be
Yep.
the by the books hard ass. That goes, you're gonna let two people, one a positronic robot and one guy who is an unseated captain, and you're. It's like, no, you're going to let them die because that's what you've been saying the entire time. And then you're going to say you're relieved of duty, but you're letting her walk around the ship with a phaser and, like, lead a security team. You're not doing any of those things. You're, like, there's things within the plot A section that have believability issues. And I think that they do not watch or they have not watched some of the older stuff, and it's not coming across as believable Starfleet, and they're just making them look incompetent. There was an Austin Powers prison break scene in episode 2 where he's using something and he's like, I need you to tell me what the combination to this thing is, and also walk close to me so I can headbutt you. Like, there's no I mean, this isn't good stuff. So I think this is a below average episode. It may be a little bit better than the first one, but I'm not excited about watching it after seeing this one. So
And the plot's not resolved with Rafi, so
oh
it's
yeah,
gonna continue.
even more Rafi, and now we get even more stuff because now that she's addicted to space heroin again, she's
Oh
gonna.
my God, that is the most pointless. God, you guys, thank you for bringing me down to earth. I can't believe how much of this that
beers.
I actually hated.
Yeah.
You know, I get a little beer goggles when Riker and Picard are
They're
you know
great.
doing their thing. They're great. They're
great.
really holding up the episode. I also really enjoy 7 of 9 and her doing thing. And then right at the end, there's a tease that it's gonna get better. But we have to review it based on what we've seen here. So what was yours?
I'm gonna say it's a 4. It's a below average.
And then here, I want to give this a 6 out of 10. I think it's slightly above average. All of the moments that took away of this episode from me was the Rafi subplot, her stupid ex-husband, the Ferengi. I actually liked the Ferengi in
like
his
Ferengi so
performance.
much.
That was, I just thought that
Does he have
was
Cisco's
great.
baseball?
Yeah, I think that's what that was. Maybe I don't. No,
Never?
just some
You
random
don't know who that
baseball.
is.
And I thought he was gonna pick. Was that a Heineken or because he's all talking about he loves human things and vintage things and stuff. But it was just a fucking stupid subplot that took away. It basically knocked all the momentum out of us as we were starting to have fun. And that really holds it back. So I am being the kindest to the series so far, as y'all can tell. 6 out of 10 on this, mainly due to the ending, seeing Picard turn into the old Picard that I know, and us confirming that we have a cat and mouse chase, Wrath of Khan 2 situation with the classic crew that hopefully will be all brought back together, and that's what I'm looking forward to. But I will say that so far it's better than season 1 and 2. Because whereas Rafi is the worst part, we had multiple Rafis to lesser extents, is not as bad as Rafi, but multiple Rafis that we had to fucking suffer through in season 1 and 2.
Couldn't we have kept Rios? Like, I was starting to
I
really
like Rios. I
Rios,
like
and then
Rios.
it's just like, man,
This would have been great if Rios was doing it or something, but Rios' character was butchered by the end. He's like,
yeah.
fuck everything. I'm just gonna, I don't know, reveal myself to this human woman and just say fuck Starfleet and move on. It's like, okay, well, thank you, Rios. Anyways, anyway, thank you all so much for enduring this with us and watching this with us and going through this with us, because this is obviously, TNG is important to me. I grew up on it, and it kind of shaped me as a person and the morals and ideals and things that I strive towards and hope. And this is not that. This is theater. This is taking the corpses of your favorite action figures and toys and shit and smashing them together. And it's like, oh, you guys liked Wrath of Khan. Let's kind of do the little bit of Wrath of Khan. But I'm hoping by the end they can give them a little bit better send off than there was in Nemesis. So that's.
It's funny you say that. That's it. You grew up with that, but every time that show came on, I knew that was my bedtime because I would watch Married with Children. Then right after to be like Star Trek, like, I was like, all right, bedtime.
That's fucked up, man. I knew it was my bedtime when MASH came on. That was my series. I was like, I'm not watching this. I'm going to bed.
MASH is great.
I know, but I just it's time bedtime. Nick at night. I'm out. Anyways, guys, that's it. So Let's go ahead and do a little quick episode breakdown, actually, now, so we can tell you exactly why we felt this way. So, you start off on "You're a Starship" song. You know, all the songs are just fucking heavy-handed and bullshit. And you got Jack Crusher, and he's doing, I don't know, his best cool captain impression, a little Shatner, a little, you know, trying to establish him as a character that you might like. Then we have the Galarian Fever. He is a freedom fighter, essentially, that is trying to get medical supplies and stuff, and he knows how to do the wheeling and dealing. He gets stopped by some Rangers, and he's got some Romulan ale he'll share with them and some weapons.
He's like a Hans.
Yeah, he's like a Han Solo kind of thing. They're trying to make him cool.
Yeah.
It's not quite working for me yet. I like the idea, and this is why I think I rated the episode a little higher than I normally would. I like the idea of Picard having a son, being attached to Beverly in that way, having that, and you know, I have a better version of it in my head than what we're getting, actually.
Like a young Picard, like he looks exactly like.
Well, they
Picard
kind of already
with
did.
a shaved head. It's like,
They kind of already did that in
who look
Nemesis,
like?
though. That's what's funny, Joe, is Nemesis. Guess who the villain is in Nemesis? It's Picard.
son?
It's
His evil
kind
son?
of, it's, yes, kind of an evil son. He's a clone of Picard, and he's bald-headed, and he's super young, and they try to make him cool, and it just didn't work. So I guess they're trying it again, and it's Jack Crusher this time. Anyways, so they make a point but at the end they tattle on him, even though he gives them all the stuff. They're like,
we found him.
We found him. So then the villain shows up because the villain has tons of connections. I guess is this the throwaway thing where there's a conspiracy in Starfleet, that she has connections in Starfleet, she has connections with the Klingons, she has connections with all these different groups, because every time they were running, it would be a different fucking group trying to chase him down. He's like, I don't know what's going on here. Finally, she shows up, and they're like, fuck, we're fucked. This ship is going to kill us, so we have a plan to reach out to the Titan. So then we go to the Titan, and we've got a bridge crew. These are inconsequential crew members. Like, I don't give a shit about any of them except for LaForge's daughter. Everybody's bald-headed. Everybody's disregarding orders and re-regarding orders, and just they're shells. They're not really characters as you would see in TNG and Voyager.
It just makes the Federation look like incompetent shitheads.
Right, like nobody has any personality except for I'm the character that has no hair, and I am the token Romulan. I don't fucking know. Anyway, so the bridge is picking up something, and the captain doesn't want to help because he's Shaw and he's being an asshole. And he's like, fuck them, they left.
They're outside of the jurisdiction.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna risk 500.
Then why are you still there?
He does have a point in his mind. Actually, Shaw is pretty, he's on point with Starfleet. It's like, look, you fucking stole a shuttle. You're lucky I didn't fucking shoot you out of the sky. I'm done. I'm not gonna, risk my 500 crew members. And this is how they're going to soften him later. You know what I mean? To justify his actions.
That would be fine, but they're doing it too quick for me right now.
Yeah. No, exactly. And then he says stuff like, we'll be outgunned. It's like, what? How did you know that? Like, the fucking sensors can detect exactly? No, because later on they detect how many weapons are on the ship, but not at that point. At that point, they were like, oh, we're getting some faint readings of this and that. It's like, we're going to be outgunned. It's like, what? How do you... If Starfleet operated that way, they wouldn't go anywhere. That doesn't make any sense. You're like exploring a galaxy of people that may be more advanced than you. Anyway, something about him just kind of reminds me... Oh no. At that point, then... we get a scene of Riker and Picard, and Riker's like, you see what I'm seeing? And Picard's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's like, he's your son, duh, why are you ignoring this? And so I guess Picard is having mixed emotions because he doesn't want to believe it. He's not sure yet, and it's throwing him for a loop. And it's kind of making him sleep through his role through here until the very end. So anyway, the enemy ship fires 3 photon torpedoes
At the shuttle.
at the shuttle and the ship, which would have blown it completely up. But I guess it just, I don't know, scratches the surface.
Well, it's really dark in the TV show, so the photon torpedoes aren't as intense.
They're not in
They were just going for the escape pod. That's it.
right.
Yeah,
But no,
we'll fire the nuke at the backpack you're wearing. You'll be fine. It's like,
it doesn't blow them up. It just disables them to where they cannot run again because they've been running the whole time, and now they're fucked. They can't run. Now, unfortunately, the whole show slams into a brick wall and we go to I can't.
Just when you this is
Just
perfect.
when
I'm
we're
like, oh my
starting
God,
to get.
what are they gonna do now?
Oh my God! Now
where are we going? No, take
now
me
we're
back.
going to Rafi, and it is the worst writing. It is so transparent. It's just literally. Who do they start talking about? They talk about Luray Toluco.
Toluco was like, no, it wasn't him.
This
Like,
fucking drug lord Toluco. It's like somebody's been watching Breaking Bad a little too much. Tuco. It's like this is an amateur. This is as if you let the first fucking writer who's like, oh, Star Trek? Yeah, I like Star Trek. I'm a writer. And
Sure, I had a lightsaber when I was growing up. All right, Star Trek.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hire him. It's so embarrassing.
here's where it started getting disappointed with me because like they're like, all right, your mission has been terminated. We already found the suspect. We're gonna do it. It's like, no, that's too easy. It's
Right.
gonna be deeper. I'm like, no, she's gonna go rogue, gonna
Right.
do her own thing.
Well, you know, yeah.
You see this coming.
This
You see it
entire
coming from
show
a
is
mile
about mutiny and insubordination.
It
Every
is.
single
It really
character,
is.
that's all they do. So the Federation is not like this, where they they break
Okay,
some rules.
to be fair, now they do this a lot in TNG, but they have a good reason to do it,
Yeah.
and that's why they're redoing it here because they're like, we have a good reason to break the rules. But when it's every goddamn
Episode.
character and
Every
every
episode.
goddamn subplot and every goddamn contrivance to learn more information in TNG, it was like the main thing. You
They
know what
did
I
it
mean?
once.
It's like they did everything by regulation and it didn't work. And it's like, we just need one more thing to put us over and we have to break the rules.
Yeah.
You know, it's not break the rules. You're an idiot. This guy doesn't know regulation. This guy doesn't, and he does, and he doesn't, and breaking. And then at the end, we broke him. It's like, God damn, boy.
Job's done, but at what cost?
It gets excessive, and any emotion and righteousness erodes by then. Okay. I'm glad we agree there. So anyways, she fucking...
So that happens.
So that happens. Rafi, her contact will not let her investigate more. Stop investigating. Starfleet is... And so I don't know how they're going to explain this. Is this Worf taking a gamble, rolling the dice, that he knows Rafi is so goddamn bullheaded and she's going to do it anyway, that he's going to actually show up where she's going to show up to save her at the last minute. But... if he knew that, then why not just encourage her? She's going to end up in the same place anyway. It doesn't make any sense.
Because we're supposed to like Rafi. All right? She's
Right! It's so goddamn
like,
transparent.
yeah, she ain't by the book. She gets a job done.
Her ex-husband happens to be on the drug dealing planet where she's been the whole fucking time.
It's just that stuff where it's like, you're just the most amazing pilot and officer ever created in the Star Trek universe. And they were actually saying that in the dialogue. That's what it feels like. You know what I mean? And they don't say that, but it's that kind of stuff that pisses me off. Anyways, so we're done with this Rafi, at least for now. And we go back to 9, 7 and 9. She's trying to appeal to the captain. Do not abandon these guys. And he's like, fuck you, shut up. But she appeals to his vanity. That's the only way she gets to it.
She's not even trying to appeal. All she says is, you know how you're being a dick? Could you, not be a dick? And he's like, you right. And
No.
then,
I disagree with you there. Because she does appeal to his vanity. She's like, look, I know what you're trying to do, but... do you want to be the hero? Do you want to be above Picard and Riker? You could be the hero that saves him. So I totally buy it because I like 7 of 9. I like what she's doing here.
yeah,
I like this subplot. You could be the hero, and then you can see he's like, motherfucker, I could be, above them. So that works for me.
Yeah, I think that is absolute dog shit. And then a guy who is talking about, I'm not risking 500 people because he magically knows how much weapons they have. I mean... he's told them over and over and over again. Like all she says is like, "Be cool," and he's like, "Cool, I'll be cool." It felt like we were watching Miss Marvel, where it's like, "Hey, remember?" Where they was like, "Hey, can you not be a dick?" And they're like, "You're right,
yeah.
I won't be a dick."
Oh, it was Quantumania, yeah.
Well, there's Quantumania and it was Miss Marvel when she says
Yeah.
like, "Hey, don't destroy the world," and they're like, "You're right, I'm not going to destroy the
that's
world."
right, yeah.
And that's all that took. Just like, "Hey, do you want to be cool?" And he's like,
The coolest character in the world
wanna-
tells you to do something, then they'll automatically listen. That's not conflict. That's not tension. There's nothing.
And it happened off screen where he just didn't have like a self-realization. He's like,
Yeah, because I would have rather see that, like them in trouble and him just like, having the pressure of
Captain,
doing
they're
something.
firing on them again. Captain, they're firing on them
Yeah,
again.
it's like,
Hey,
what
the
are we
life
gonna
supports
do?
are going down, and he's like, "Fuck it, go."
Begrudgingly, he does it.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
all
like
right,
that.
that's better.
You're right. So Picard makes some transporter inhibitors because he's noticing that they're trying to peek. Picard still has it, guys. He already predicted that they're really only interested in Jack Crusher, and they try to teleport him out. But luckily, Picard at the same time manages to get those inhibitors working and realize that they want him. And so they're not going to blow him up. They're going to first, they try to board. This happened in an instant. And I was like, did this really happen? Did they actually board the ship and then lose a fight? And then, well, we're done.
Yeah.
But the ship is like 15 times the size. You had 3 Marines. You had 3 Marines on the bad guy ship, and you brought them over, and they lost.
Riker rolled a thermal detonator,
Oh,
and
my-
it turned him into blue stuff. And they're like, "Holy shit, we can't do that."
We
'cause
can't do
Riker's
it
on
anymore.
there.
So now, because they can't board them, because they know we're gonna fight them off every time. I'm like, how? There's 3 of you.
You're
what
running
are you
out.
talking
You're
about?
running out of oxygen, and your computer's constantly going, "Deadly gas getting pumped in. Deadly gas getting pumped in." It's like they just have to wait 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So then I don't know. They do the teleporter. No, transporter. They grab the ship in the goddamn transporter.
Tractor
field.
beam.
Tractor beam. That's what I'm looking for. And we're like, oh no! And then here comes motherfucking Rafi again. we literally smashed to it, and this great fucking scene is ruined by goddamn Rafi. Here comes fucking Tuco, and he's walking up. It's not Tuco. Tuco's apparently dead.
No,
It
it's her
was
ex.
her ex-husband. This is where the ex-husband scene. I got it confused. Sorry. Moving on because we already talked about that. But I do want to mention that Rafi's. This is so contrived. Rafi's friend's bar, or I know her to be her ex-husband. Rafi's ex-husband's bar is apparently the only bar in the galaxy that all this shit is going down in, and it's just a forced way to include her plot B, which couldn't be any worse.
Plot C,
and
your
then
son.
these new characters that come out of nowhere. I've been here the whole time. I'm her ex-husband, and I have emotional weight behind what I say. Do you want me to talk to your son, or do you want me to help you stop the galaxy from being destroyed? What? Are you fucking stupid? Get the fuck out of here with your forced drama. There are other ways to do this. Take a fucking writing class, for the love of God.
I like how they really tripled down to let you know that he was an artist because they had him in this jacket that was covered in paint. And I was like, why is this necessary? They're like, no, we got to let people know that he's an artist.
Yeah,
It's
gotta
like,
make a joke at artist's expenses later on.
it's like, but why? It's like, doesn't he own a bar? It's like, no, but art.
Yeah. And then he is either gonna I can't believe he's like, I'm either gonna talk to your son or I'm gonna talk to Sneed. You decide. Bro, you're a piece of shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? Anyway, so finally we get a reveal of Captain Vatic. She is she says that's it. She goes, hello, Admiral Jean-Luc Picard. Picard.
She does that.
She does. She
does
literally does that. This is the most hilarious. I loved it. Admiral Picard. I love
It's all
when
that
she's
smoking.
It's this. She is smoking on the bridge. She's a rebel, Joe. Doesn't follow the fucking rules. She's dangerous. Picard. All right. She's over the top. It's hilarious, and I don't know. At this point, I'll roll with it. I kind of like her.
I actually
but
do.
she's-
I do kind
I
of
kind of
like
like her.
Because-
She's giggling, and
Yeah.
I will admit it now. I think it might turn out to be fun. So, and they're like, "Hey, get out of here! What is your purpose here?" Riker says, and she's, well, there's a bounty on that motherfucker's head right there, Jack Crusher, and we are taking him. And I'm sorry. She says, "We are taking him. We are taking." Him. I forgot what she and I was like, bless you, because it's like we are taking him. And she gives them 1 hour to comply, just like in Wrath of Khan. And just because
Really like that move? What are they doing?
they're just literally take all the best parts that you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, is the better is like TNG stuff, is the movie stuff.
right.
That's what it is, Joe. And then, but to let her know, this is new, to let her know that she's serious, she throws a ship at them. She throws shit at them. She does throw shit at them.
Yeah.
So she tractors one
ship
ship
action.
and ship action and throws a ship at him. And they're like, oh, fuck.
What'd you do?
What would have happened if he threw the ship? Oops. Anyways.
But then the next one is like, what did she do? Is like, did you not fucking see that?
I was hoping they'd.
She threw a fucking ship.
It's,
You saw it.
it's on the view screen. Here comes a spinning ship towards us. What did she do?
I wanted them to pull a full Galaxy Quest, and when she lowered her shields for scanning, she's like, "All right, just nuke her." It's like full blues, full reds, just.
Boom. So anyways, Shaw talks with 9, and we learn about
She's done.
the Jack Crusher. She's like, hey, she gives him the little data pad, and he's like, it's like a big reveal or whatever. I think he sees that it's Picard's son. Yeah, he sees his long criminal record. That might have been it, and he is convinced. No, fuck this guy. We're gonna get him out of here. And it's revealed that Shaw is a con man. And since when but then Picard and Riker are like, hey, since when does Starfleet give executions and not trials? Like, we can't do this, and they're doing the right thing. This is how the people on TNG would act. We can't just give this person up. Yes, there are 500 lives at risk, but this is important. Anyways,
Josh should have said, yeah, exactly. You guys are going to go on trial for everything you've caused right now.
yeah.
Piece of shit.
They honestly should be in the brig and not allowed on the bridge constantly.
So Riker again talks with Picard. Why can't you see he's your son? This inspires Picard to go finally talk to him. So we got a scene of he's in the brig, and he's talking with his son, and he's like, why? We learn about it. He's like, how can you do this? This is why I know you're bad. You're doing bad things. He's like, why? Because Beverly. And he's like, Beverly was with me the whole time. You don't know anybody anymore. You're over there on your goddamn vineyard doing shit, and you probably think everybody's the same as they always were. I like that. There's a small little nugget there that it's like, all right, cool. There's some cool drama here. It's like, who's your father? He says. He's like, I never had one. And you can see it hit Picard hard because he's like, oh, fuck. Well, I guess I'm your father, and you're right. You never had one.
Good thing they don't believe in money, right?
Okay, but hold on. If you really think about this, now, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're not supposed to really think about this.
But does that not make Beverly Crusher the biggest fucking asshole for never telling Picard about his son? Because I find it really hard to believe that Picard would just ignore his son. You know what I mean? So I think Beverly, they
it's a known situation.
Butcher her
People
character.
just say, like, nope, you don't need to know.
It happens in the real world, Joe, is what you're saying? Yeah, true. By shitty people, and Beverly's not really a shitty person.
You don't know her anymore.
I don't
When's
know
the
her
last time
anymore.
you seen her? When's the last time you seen her?
That's true. All right, fine. We're going to make Beverly a piece of shit because she never fucking told Picard about her son. I don't like it. But Joe, that's explained away because it happens in real life. Some women get mad and they're like, "Well, I'll never tell you about your son because you weren't gonna be in his life anyways." Like, you didn't even give me the fucking opportunity to. All right, fuck you, no, fuck you. All right. Anyway, so, and then we go back. So once again, as we're like, "Hey, that might work," what happens? Smash the Raffi. I am so tired. I am so tired of Raffi's cheap sets. They look worse than Babylon 5 sets that were 20 years ago.
But I love them.
Yes, I love Babylon 5, but the sets, Alex,
were terrible.
I've rewatched them.
They're fucking
it's
terrible.
really bad. And so I'm like, watch Babylon 5. I'm like, but don't expect it to look nice. And it doesn't look nice here. She goes to a drug den. And I'm like, oh, they're pushing this subplot with Rafi's drug addiction and stuff. It's just making me roll my eyes.
This is just so stupid. She goes find out information. She's like, I'm not with the Federation, but who did this and this evil thing? And
the Federation
this.
would want to know.
Yeah, but I'm not Federation.
I swear.
This is stupid.
I don't know and I don't like how Sneed is connected to this drug den that Rafi can get into so easy. It's ridiculous. You know how big the galaxy is? Like that
He had
fucking
one bodyguard.
Ferengi would not be anywhere near. But they excuse it. Say, no, Joe, the reason why he's there is because he loves human things, and this was the bar that had the most human things or something. There's a baseball and a thing. Anyways, Sneed knows that the guy is her first wife. He's like, his first wife left Starfleet, and I know who you are, and I know who this guy is, and I know you're not working for Tuco, Breaking Bad Tuco, because I have his head. I will say, I do like Sneed. I like Sneed. He is a Ferengi. He's perfect. I like his performance. It's just all, the shit around it. He goes, you're Section 31 Starfleet unless you do drugs to prove it. So stupid.
Every cop thing. You're not a real cop. It's like, do drugs. All
Do
right.
you think that a Section 31 officer would not do drugs to save what they feel is their entire worldview? The millions, billions of people. Of course they would. This is not.
But Joe, this has
anything
way more weight because she's an addict.
Maybe it's also a truth
Right.
serum, Joe.
Right,
You don't
and
get
we
it.
care about Raffi. We don't want her
Oh
to fall
no!
back into
Is
drugs.
she gonna do the drugs?
Is she gonna fall back
She's-
into drugs, Joe? Get the fuck out of here. Listen, and then he goes, "I'm impressed." For no fucking reason. That's writing. Everybody loves Raffi. I'm so fucking impressed by your skills.
You're even good at doing drugs.
Wow, you're so good at doing drugs.
You're a natural kid.
And then he's like, nah, fuck it. I'm just kidding. I'm going to kill you. And then, I know who you are. And then luckily we had Worf show up just then. He's like, this is a fucking Batla. What's
Batleth,
the Batleth goes through the chest and hitting more big boy. He just takes out the whole fucking thing. And I'm like, sweet. I liked it. So much for the pacifist that we last left him as, but good. I don't want the pacifist Worf. I want warrior Worf. And so I'm like, yay, good change. And he goes, I told you not to engage. And then they do play the theme song, which I really enjoyed. And that's the member berries. And yeah. So then we get the final scene, which is, hey, you stop putting us in this position, Picard. You just don't want to sell out your fucking ex-girlfriend's son. I got to protect. I'm not going to risk my crew of 500 to do this. And you're just selfish and you're doing stupid shit.
He's a
And
fugitive.
Even the son once, he's like, nah, man, I'm
Yeah.
not endangering all these people because, like,
The son, yeah, he does.
the only person in this situation who's a piece of shit is Picard. Picard. and Riker, who are like, no, we got to save him. It's like, we're not in Federation space. Give him up. He's a piece of shit.
They do have a clever scene. I did like this scene with Jack Crusher where he knows that, if the prisoner's trying to self-harm, the regulations, he basically turns Starfleet regulations against each other in a clever way. He's like, he knows the guy has to tell him what it is. And I guess he needed the exact number that the force field was modulated at in order to disable it with one of his fucking Han Solo gadgets. And he breaks out of prison.
Why
and
would
it
he
turns
do that, though?
And it turns out that he was trying to give himself up. But I totally believe why he's doing this, Joe. He wants to save
No,
his mom.
the
He doesn't
guard.
give a fuck. Oh, why would the guard what? Tell him the modulation? It's Starfleet regulations.
Yeah, well, the guard didn't have to walk up there to get headbutt. Also,
I know you don't believe it, but there's, Starfleet does
He's a
do
fugitive. I'm not
stupid
going to
shit.
tell prisoners shit.
That
I'm not
is.
telling
Yes,
you prisoner
but if
shit.
he's a person, Joe, then
Oh,
you
now
can't-
we're going by the
we can't-
code?
Yes,
Yeah.
we've always gone by the code. Those standard people have always gone by.
It does. I don't like it. It's stupid.
I think it's so
but
it
it
works.
makes sense a little bit. But the problem is the whole scene doesn't make any sense because if he wanted to be transported, he'd just be like, "Excuse me, can I speak to the captain? You can transport me to the evil ship so everyone here lives." And the captain would be like,
Oh, yeah.
granted." And he doesn't
Right,
have to
and
knock
press-
someone.
it would
he
do
would
a
have to do
single
he just-
button.
So none of this makes any fucking sense. So we're going to supersede your thing that doesn't make sense, which I think makes a little sense, and just be
then
like,
su-
this
su-
whole fucking last part of the episode doesn't make sense because he's trying to give himself up, and everyone on the ship is like, yeah, do that, except for the guy who has no power and the other guy who has no power that's also a robot.
But they're legends. So, anyways, we maybe, and then Picard's like, all we need to do is just get her back on the screen because if we, Maybe we will be able to bring her down by standing up. I'm going to bring her down by standing up. It's like, yeah, that's like one of those platitudes that doesn't really make sense.
She threw a ship at you.
I don't think you're going to be able to talk her out of this anyways. And then she's like, she calls them actually at that moment just to kind of taunt them. And she told them what was so important that she needed to call him before the time was up.
She hadn't said anything menacing in a little while, and she wanted to. Like,
she wanted to tell
She's
him.
like the clock is
name of the
ticking.
ship.
Tick-tock, seconds are going by. You need to hurry up and make your decision.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
it
gonna check more
was,
stuff from
it was
you.
to let. You're both wrong. It was to let them know that her vessel was called the Shrek.
Get out of my swamp.
Do you know what my vessel is called?
Threatening him. He's like, yeah. It's like, it's very menacing.
Shrek is love.
The Shrek.
And then after that,
called
Shaw's
something
like,
else.
I thought you wanted to stand up to Picard.
You look like a punk ass bitch.
Picard's like, get him on the call. He's like, we just had the call.
Shut up, Joe.
Like, we
Second
just
joke. The
we
first
just
episode joke. Joe was like, what was the first joke?
find lasers. Riker turns him around.
This way. Next, Joe, I thought you were going to be, give her a speech or whatever.
Oh, get him on.
Get her on the
We were just on the call. Can we call back?
Shut up, Joe. I fucking hate you. I shouldn't laugh at that. The man is a treasure, national treasure.
Not anymore.
He certainly is. Let's
He's
turn
still
him
a
over.
legend.
But he's already escaped. And then they listen to her when relieved of duty. What did I write that down for? They listen to 7 of 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I may not have any command left.
But
or-
come with me and
but
get
do
me
what I
phaser
say.
and-
I buy it. If she's popular on the ship and the captain's a fucking asshole and maybe.
But again, we
she'll
don't have
a
that
few people
rapport
loyal
though,
to
or
her.
anything yet.
They're gonna give up their careers for this too, though. I don't know.
Yeah. And then as Shaw orders him to be handed over, that's when we get Beverly. Riker decided to crack her out of the cryo chamber to wheel her out on the bridge.
Terrible idea.
It was apparently a good idea because it's what Picard needed. From a look, he looks at her, and because he's like, "Is this my son? Do I go above and beyond to try to prevent this guy, or do I just give him up because he's a random asshole that I don't care about, which doesn't really fit the Picard character? But okay, I'll take care of him if he's my son." And then Beverly gives him the look, and then he's like, "Oh, he's my son." And then he goes,
so
dun, 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 dun. He actually bursts out and he does it. Then he takes the hat and the cane and then he does the dancing on the thing, that he did in the bloopers. No, he turns into Picard and he immediately orders the standing down of the captain. He takes over as Admiral and everybody listens to him and he fucking takes off and she goes, ah!
They fire at her on his command.
And he's like fire, and then
Then they take off.
Then they fire, and then they take off on Picard's command. Is there anything wrong with that scene, or does anybody notice anything?
That he's a retired admiral taking control of a ship that he doesn't have the authority to do. That he should have been in the brig the whole fucking
That
time.
they made a big point in episode 1 that he literally has no more authority.
Yeah.
Because I thought, and at the end I was like, yeah, it was what? Did you see that?
Yeah, I was
He's
like,
like,
wait,
yeah,
no.
but he was retired. Oh shit,
who's-
you're right. He was retired. I forgot about that. So I guess they're expecting us to all believe that every single person on the ship is like, that man's a legend. But then, but how can that be when at the bar nobody wants the fucking Galaxy class? It's like nobody gives it. Nobody knows who Picard is, and a few people in Starfleet know here and there, but nobody likes Galaxy classes. It's only the ship that saved the entire galaxy multiple times. So how does Picard have this reverence? Too many inconsistencies here. But I guess they all follow his orders because he's a retired admiral.
Yeah, well, and Shaw just sits down and goes, all right. And he doesn't go, belay that order. You're not.
No. Yes.
Yeah, like he did every other time.
Every single other time.
Except for
It's
this time,
no,
it's like,
we're
no,
not doing
you're
that.
limp noodle now. I know you're by the book, but it's not a good book. You don't
So
even-
this big moment that I even liked is undercut when you really think about it a little bit more.
You're not supposed to.
And it could have been done differently. Like, why even write that he's retired? Just keep him in there. None of that would have been necessary. all the moments there was tension. Oh, you're retired. Oh, you have no power here. Could still work. He's like, I'm the captain of this ship, and I'm not going to do anything to risk my crew. I realize that you're admiral, and he's like, and Picard could give a throwaway line. So I'm not going to do anything that's against, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
again,
whatever.
it would have worked if
But it's because the writers are like, oh, well, we have to give a reason where Shaw will not take them where they want to go. But that resulted in nothing. It was a fucking detour for no fucking reason. It's just because he doesn't like him. Because something happened in his past, and then make him an asshole, and then later on he's not going to be an asshole, and he's going to explain what happened in the past, and he's going to help him.
Yeah, again, if we would have just focused on this main plot, give some more character to Shaw, it would have been way better instead of intercutting back and forth, back and forth.
Can you imagine if they're like, we need someone in intelligence, and then Riker's like, I know a guy. And then they just cut to Worf like beaming aboard. Everyone would be fucking like, yes! And there's no Rafi whatsoever. We don't need any of this other horse shit.
Motherfucking Worf could go on all of these himself. Just be an old man. Fucking, I don't give a fucking shit. I just don't want Rafi a part of it. I hate her character. Want her out of here.
Again, the plot's not resolved, so we're gonna have more.
We're gonna have more of that as we go into it. Anyway, I did write. I'm into it though. She's giggling like a schoolgirl, and then she goes after him. She does have pretty much every single goddamn type of photon torpedo and weapon and
everything, and
plus stuff they don't even know.
And then tractor beams and all sorts of shit. Yeah.
So that could be fun as we move up into the future. So that is the episode breakdown. Will it get better? Will it get worse? Will it continue as it is? We shall see on the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I look forward to your comments and what Red Letter Media has to say as well. All right, guys. Bye. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.